for the witness? If not, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next up is Daniel Gomper from Columbia. Two.
Okay.
We're getting there.
Okay. I'd also like to thank the committee for sticking with us for, I think we're in 14 hours now here. But through these 14 hours, I've heard a lot of testimony, and still a little perplexed and seeing a couple things that are missing from the testimony. The first thing that I'm wondering about is back in 2010, Connecticut already had a mass shooting in the Hartford Distributors in Manchester, Connecticut, where 8 people were murdered and there was 1 suicide. It was kind of the precursor to what happened, and without taking away anything from Newtown, but it was kind of the precursor to that event. I'm kind of wondering why we're here now and why we weren't here after that particular event. What I'm getting to here is why we don't see an equitable application of the law, or at least a concern of the law, across the board when we have these types of events. If we didn't have a response then, why are we having a response now? Would be one question. The other one would be we should have had a response back then, and we didn't. Personally, my response back then was to buy more guns because I was a little worried about these people walking into workplaces and shooting them up over absolutely nothing. The other thing that's kind of perplexing me is that I'm seeing a lack of compromise, and I don't think that the gun owners out here are the ones that need a compromise. I think that I've seen a lot of requests from the committee to manufacturers, to the industry, asking them where they would compromise. And really, I think the question that needs to be asked is from the committee and from the legislature, where can they compromise to meet our needs? And just looking through some of these bills here, namely 1076, I see some items in particular here that I would throw out there for you to take a look at. Overall, I'm opposed to the entire bill. However, I found some really egregious areas here that are just kind of outright silly, and in some cases very very dangerous to the public at large by implementing this bill. And the first one is the 1 gun per month provision, which is just going to be frustrating. I think it's kind of mean-hearted to all the gun owners out there, a lot of people who collect, a lot of people who don't necessarily know what they want out of a gun when they're a new gun owner. For example, if they decide they want to start off with a Smith & Wesson, they want to change to a Glock, which they probably should change to, or if they want to go to a locally made Colt, they would be limited on being able to make those choices within a month's time. It's very easy to make such mistakes and to have to reevaluate some of your choices. The second one would be this odd threaded barrel provision that would classify any pistol with a threaded barrel as an assault weapon. I teach a lot of new shooters on a Ruger. It's actually made in Connecticut. It has a threaded barrel on it. The purpose of that is to add a compensator or a sound moderator to it in order to make shooting a lot easier, and instruction a lot easier to a new shooter that might have either a hard time dealing with the recoil, the report, or just need to have an opportunity for a little bit more direct instruction. Having any of those items on a pistol does not make an assault weapon. So I'd ask you to please, if this bill progresses any further or any other bill progresses, they may have such a provision, and to amend it to strike any threaded barrel provision out of it, because it's just outright silly, and it really just takes away from the ability for some shooters to enjoy their sport. The last one would be just the body armor provision that's in here. I think that is just absolutely ridiculous that we have that we're going to try to ban body armor from individuals. We have Connecticut's got a lot of rich people. It's got a lot of celebrities living in it, ultra high net worth individuals. They're under a lot of threats sometimes that you may not know about. They need body armor in a lot of cases where they're being moved about and they have specific threats. Not only that, but you also have, from the other strata of life, you have women that have been threatened by jilted lovers, whatever, domestic situations where they may have to wear body armor. Even my own, just in different lines of work, we had a bondsman come in. We have just in my own family. My father, he has to go into some of the worst areas of Hartford. He has to wear a hard hat the entire time. But based on this bill here and other suggestions I've seen thrown around, he wouldn't be allowed to wear body armor or a stab plate if somebody tried to come out of a crack house or a squatter's camp and somebody tried to stab him. Which I think is completely reasonable, but there's no provision of law here. I do think it's admirable that there's no provision in here for the legislature to wear it to have body armor. So it does place the legislature on the same ground as everybody else in the state.
Daniel, can you wrap up?
Yeah, absolutely. Outside of that, I'm seeing a lot of testimony here, and again, I do appreciate you staying this long. Overall, though, I've seen a lot of people also allude to gun owners as being the paranoid bunch. I don't think we're the paranoid ones here. I think the paranoid ones are the people that are worried about the guns that we have, the ammunition that we have, and wondering what we're going to do with it, which is, quite frankly, probably a whole lot of nothing. What I think needs to be concerned about is how we're going to vote. And I think it's going to be clear, based on the outcome of these bills, that a lot of us are going to, unfortunately, become single-issue voters. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. Do we have any other questions? No. Okay. No. Guess not, Daniel. Thank you very much. Okay. Next up, Christopher Du Bois from Oxford.